Alright, I just filmed another video, and I'm in the video mood, so I might as well just continue. You can see my lack of trying. PJ's hair's funky. I got an Ashy shirt on. Let's go. Fifth year Jet vibes all the way. Okay, so this one I wanted to talk about just Jet and career and kind of follow up on my being an engineer or studying engineering and then coming to Jet video. Because in that video I was, talking about how it's kind of iffy to come on Jet if you're an engineer, but I just want this video to be kind of my reflection on Jet and how it ties into career and career as a whole and the idea of career and the idea of Jet and just kind of talking about that. But so in my last video I talked about engineering and studying it, which I did coming here, and then I thought my advice I gave was that like it might be questionable if you studied engineering and then came here, but I want to add on to that, I think, because while I think it is in some senses risky to come here, I've been told by a lot of people, like, oh, if you deviate from the engineer track, it's going to be hard to get a job. But I think realistically there's no real answer to this question. So if you're a career person and you come on Jet, but you're thinking of your career the whole time and career is important to you, it's questionable. If you're kind of like me and you really don't care about career and you came onto Jet and just like whatever, that's fine too. So I think it just really depends on the person you are and just what you want. But I will say, like, the fact is, if you did a not relevant subject in college and you come here doing English, the fact is it probably is irrelevant. So the question from that is, are you okay with that? And my justification for that is, and I believe this, if from this I go and I work for a company or an interview for a company and they question why I deviated from engineering or deviated from science, I don't want a company that wants me to just get on this one little treadmill and be a little hamster person and like work the same job for like 35 years. Like, I want them to accept me for who I am, and I feel like companies should respect that. And if they don't, that's not for me. It might be a lot to ask, but sometimes you have to ask for a lot in order to truly live the life you want, and life is dynamic and a lot of people do change jobs and change careers, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. I think you give yourself more reflection and insight into yourself by trying a lot more things. So yeah. So another on the same idea of career, I came into Jet thinking that career was so important and that I was like deviating from this thing I worked so hard for, which is technically true, but leaving Jet now after like 5 years, I've just totally changed that viewpoint, and I kind of view career now as like, is it even important? It is important, but who's telling us it's important? It seems like society, especially in America, it's really common for people to be pushed to work at career and have a really good job and get a lot of money. There's that whole side hustle culture thing going on now where you're supposed to get a lot of money and be doing like 2 or 3 other things on the side and always pushing yourself and always getting things done and being efficient and all this, and just coming to Jet and just seeing life partially on a side where like I'm not pressured to do anything, and just seeing a whole different culture and dynamic and all that just made me kind of question if that whole career thing is even legitimate. Because maybe again I'm biased, but when you're working for a company, the person that's getting the most benefit from you working is the company, or maybe the shareholders, depending on how many shares you have. But all that really matters, just do what you want, really. I wish I knew that when I first came on Jet, because I came here and I was always planning and like, ooh, I need to apply to this like engineering school and I gotta have like my master's degree in my mind, and I need to know my next steps. And while that is important, like, I don't know my next steps now, and that you know, you can't force that. You can't force yourself to just suddenly know what you want to do. Like, that just, you can try, you know, you can try a lot, but you can't really just force a decision or force a feeling. You can't force yourself to want something or love something. So, yeah, Jet just changed that whole thing for me. But I will say, I do think Jet is, it's like winning the lottery, but it's winning the lottery of time. It's not winning the lottery of money. And if you utilize the time that you're given on Jet, if you add up all those little hours of in between classes or midterm time or whatever time, like that would, depending on how long you stay, that's probably 200 to 300 hours a year. If you stay for 5 years, that's like 1,500 hours, which could be really used well if you do online classes, if you study Japanese. It's a very great opportunity, but there's also a cost to everything. But yeah, that could potentially be something good for people too if they're on Jet, don't know what they want, but you really are proactive and use that time well to try to find out what you want, or if you don't know what you want, use it to build some skills. Or just travel. That's just what I did. I just traveled the whole time until COVID. So, yeah, I guess what's important is just finding what's important to each of us and what's important to you and what you like and what makes you happy. I think Jet also taught me what yes feels like and what no feels like. Maybe it's because the recontracting thing was always like shoved in my face. And they're like, are you going to stay or not? Are you staying? What are you doing for the next year? Are you going to stay here or like go home and be a neat blob and be unemployed and all that stuff? So, yeah. I think it is beautiful though that Jet makes you constantly reassess every year and quite often reassess what you're doing with your life. And yeah, it's definitely good. I will say though, it does make it easy. Jet makes it easy to put all the hard questions in a little closet behind you in your brain, so to speak. And I know I did that for sure, like with school and with job and with some other things. I was like, career, I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't really care. So I'm just gonna put that back and like where I want to live. Now I have more options, so that's even more stuff to think about. So put that back too. So it does make it really easy to kind of neglect some essential questions, which for me weighed on me a little bit. But maybe you guys out there won't weigh on, or maybe you have your stuff figured out. Maybe you have a job already when you go back. So it's hard. It's a lot to manage, and they don't teach you this in college. So yeah, what's important is to, I think what would be good is to just like journal every day or tell yourself like at this time, like I don't have class third period, so at 9:30 a.m. or if I get home at 5:30 p.m. I'm going to spend 30 minutes and I'm going to journal about what I want in a job. I'm going to look and just do that because it is really important to be like consciously proactive on Jet. I think that's the best balance to try to set yourself up for after it. And knowing how you feel about career. Do you care? Do you not care? So that's my little rant. But let me know in the comments how you feel. How you feeling about career? How do you feel about Jet so far? Are you on Jet? Do you want to be on Jet? I want to hear about it. So let me know. And until next time, we'll see you around.